Welcome to the program where we make fun of sales, training, and educational films of the past. My name is Jason Reed, here as always with my co-host Chris May. And Chris, in this episode, we have one of my favorite types of movies that we do, and that is the science fiction film.
Okay, go ahead. You can call it a science fiction film.
Well,
Sure.
it's basically an educational film masquerading as a science
sci-fi.
fiction film.
That is true. That is true. I think that if you are, or you know somebody who's in grade 1, you're going to get so much education out of this. For the rest of us, I hope you have as much fun watching what Jason and I did to this film as we had doing it to this film.
So let's check out Mission to the Third Planet.
Oh. Ooh, space age.
It's the flare from the beginning of Planet of the Apes.
Toward the end
It just
of the
looks like an
terrestrial
accidental
20th
lens
century,
flare to me.
Scientists from the second planet of the star Epsilon Eridani set out to classify
Hey, wait, that's
living
that's an
organisms
eagle from
in
Space
remote sectors of the
1999.
universe.
The face looks the same. Are you sure? Is that it?
That's exactly it.
Oh my
And of
gosh,
the
what a
brave
ripoff.
beings
Plagiarism.
and robots who made them possible.
They didn't even try to change it or put any decals or paint on it.
Not at all.
It's just
they
like-
just put it on a table and a green screen.
Grab the toy from the store and we're ready to go.
It'd be funny if suddenly Enterprise or Galactica, just to round it
began as
out.
An ordinary mission. Our scientific team was studying life on
Whoa.
the third planet of the
Quite the
star
costumes.
Sun.
You remember when
I,
that was supposed to be
Alex
what we were going to look
Percosium,
like in the 21st century? Sort of a
was
cross
working on the landing
between
vehicle.
Mick Jagger and
My
Bruno
helper
Mars.
was Tenzing. Tenzing
Yeah, you know
aboard
what?
the
They were
program
probably
to
left over from a
investigate
Sid and
natural
Marty
groupings
Croft
or
production,
PING
so
class.
they got them
Oh,
cheap.
Designed to classify
Exactly. They're like,
life forms.
wardrobe. Hey, look, there's some
Tenzing had
stuff
once
laying on the
landed
side of the
surface
street.
this
Pick it up.
third planet to help our scientists study plants. While
Why
he
did
was
he-
testing
That's a
landing
TIE
vehicle
fighter.
number
Emoji.
3,
Oh, you're right. That's it.
it
That is.
happened.
But they took
A
the.
meteor
The,
shower.
the side panels, those
Yeah.
those came off. That's obviously a toy. Those came off the big toys.
Did the ship go home without us?
I just
Was
feel
it
like I played a
destroyed?
game of asteroids just now.
Whatever happened, Tenping and I were alone.
Kids, CB radios don't work
Our
in
radio
space.
not working. Our vehicle
Breaker,
could
breaker.
make only short flights.
He's wearing like construction
do?
gloves.
They might as well rip off Smokey and the Bandit while they're at it.
Remember where it was dark,
Breaker,
were no
breaker,
people.
breaker.
And the next morning,
They're gonna run into Buford T. Justice.
on this strange planet,
Remember
far
that
from
character?
home,
You
I faced a lonely existence, unable to contact my people, and forbidden by our laws to reveal myself to people here. I was
Of
afraid,
course you are.
and the strange surroundings did
You
nothing
always
to
do what
comfort
your
me.
laws tell you to do.
Yeah, you just said you're the only
Planets were
person on this
everywhere.
planet. How in the world is
At home,
anyone
I'd
going to
seen them
know?
Only in museums. And the sounds of unknown
Of
creatures.
course, people may think he's a sentient
Might they
baked
be
potato.
dangerous? And then I thought I was probably the only member of our crew to arrive here
This is
safely.
gold member before gold member.
I
Exactly.
alone could carry out our ship's
From the
mission
Disco
to
Renaissance Fair.
observe and classify animals.
Can you imagine throwing together disco and Renaissance and
robot
put it in a fair?
Programmed to
That'd
study
be
living
great.
things could be my guide. If his programming was still intact, I had to find out.
Apparently,
You
all
could
he can
start
do is
by-
show these stupid slides.
Tintin, can you help me to classify?
You know, it reminds me of a
animals?
Viewmaster.
If you
That's
can,
right.
please demonstrate. Oh, you classify by size. Some
Size does
animals are
matter.
Small, others large.
To extraterrestrials, yeah.
And you classify by complexity. Some animals have very complicated body parts. Others are somewhat simpler.
Not as simple as
Classify
you,
by
buddy.
Lifestyle. You consider where and how an animal
Alternative
lives,
lifestyles are just
what
as
and how it
valid.
eats.
Yeah, come on. No judging.
Classify by
No judging.
reproduction. How does the animal produce young ones like itself? And how
Uh-oh,
does it
now
care
we're
for them?
crossing into unknown
Apparently, the
territory.
robot could classify living things. And so we began.
Apparently, the robot could actually do what it
At
was
a stream
programmed to
near our
do.
landing place,
Yeah.
we heard the sound
Imagine.
Analyze info.
of what? A fantastic-looking creature.
Why does that
We began to
that
classify.
robot just looks like an
In
empty
size,
like garbage pail of
rather
plastic?
small. Complexity, Inside the body,
And he's got one of
was
those
a skeleton
JVC
made up of many bones
round
around a
TVs as a
spine or
head.
backbone.
Yeah.
that were
From
popular back
the
then.
Bones supported
late
soft
60s.
body
Yep.
parts, muscles that enabled the animal to move, organs for taking in air and expelling it, skin to protect the animal,
Is that the frog
And
making
beginning
that
in the
sound
head.
or his robot?
extending through the
I think it's the
body,
frog.
a control
Okay.
system of brain and nerves.
It's like nature's version of the
Most
banjo.
interesting,
Nobody wants to listen to
This
it.
animal was
Yeah, I
not
know.
the same temperature as
Stop
the air
it.
around it.
Stop it.
What a fascinating creature.
They must be aliens.
How
They're
eager I
using
was
the
to
metric
learn about
system.
its lifestyle.
That's how you tell.
As
That's
we
how you
observed the
tell.
creature and others like it, we learned that they begin life underwater. They eat small plants and animals. They breathe oxygen dissolved in the water through special organs, gills.
It's amazing where they got all
Most
this film
remarkable,
from.
These creatures soon leave the water. They breathe air with lungs, and they eat other animals.
There's a surprise.
Or
I
insects.
wondered, how does
Hey,
such a
we eat other
remarkable
animals
animal
too.
reproduce? Interesting.
How does that
There were
robot
males and
keep
females.
balanced?
Yeah, the robot that's
From
made of
both
a cheap
sexes
plastic
combined
is just
to produce
leaning
hundreds of
off the
tiny
rocks.
eggs.
Just angled off the
Parents did
rocks.
not take care of the eggs.
They're probably telling the
Eggs that
little
live
person inside, you
hatched
know,
into babies
lean
in
to
its
the
sea,
back, lean to the back.
living
You're
underwater.
gonna fall
You're
over.
gonna go over,
Finally,
you're
they
gonna
grew
go
up and
over.
breathed air. We classified them. Small animals.
I wonder if this
With
robot could put
backbone
itself on silent mode
that
because
begin
Oh,
that
man.
chime is
in
annoying.
water
It
and
is.
then move to land. They are known as
That's like that morons that have no
amphibians.
idea how to like silence
Observing
the
them,
ringer when their
I
phone's
wanted
ringing
to
in a
learn
public
about
place.
other creatures of this beautiful planet.
Oh,
And
totally
I
a
did.
TIE fighter.
Totally a sci-fi.
Often we hid, waiting for timid animals to approach.
So we can shoot them. Or maybe not.
There were flying animals that nested near the water. Others lived in trees.
We could
We
grab them and
examined and
experiment
classified
on them.
some.
You know, if you're not looking to scare the animals away, then maybe, yeah, turn them on
Medium in
silent.
size,
Turn them on
with
silent.
a backbone and skeleton.
That's why the shithawks
There were
out there were
special bones
screaming. It's like,
to support the muscles of
ah!
And the skin. It was covered with overlapping structures that helped this wonderful animal to fly.
I can fly! I can fly!
Their bodies were warmer than the surrounding air. How different they were from animals we'd observed earlier. Oh, I regretted leaving the birds.
He regretted
traveled
leaving the
on to
birds, but he
discover
joined the
and
Loving
study other
Spoonful
animals.
shortly afterwards.
For a long time,
Loving
we had wondered
Spoonful.
about certain amazing
Nice
creatures we'd seen.
obscure reference.
Some were very small,
Oh wow, he
Others
left
were
birds and went to Living
much larger
Spoonful.
than 10 finger eyes.
Good
All
one.
had bony skeletons with backbones, a body plan that was very familiar to us. But a new characteristic was in the head.
You know, we talked about Renaissance
most
festivals. They've got the
control
Renaissance
system on
Festival of
the
music
planet.
going on, too.
What?
And the skin cover,
It is one heck of a
thousands of
soundtrack.
tiny
There's no doubt about that.
filaments or hairs. I'm still amazed by the many
Now the
lifestyles
robot's
of
7
these
feet
creatures.
tall.
Some burrowed
Look at
in
that
the earth.
plastic thing
And ate
that just went
plants.
snap, snap, snap.
Others lived on the surface of the planet and hunted.
Yeah, you
Some-
guys might want to get away from the coyote.
Some stayed close to the water, like amphibians. Still others flew through the air, like birds. But no matter how they lived, most of these marvelous animals raised their babies in a very special way. They gave birth to living, moving young ones.
Nice observation.
The mother fed them with a very special fluid from her body,
This medieval Renaissance
And
festival
parents
music
cared
is
for
making
them.
me laugh.
often for a very long time.
Get off my back, kids.
Observing
Yeah,
these
that
animals
defined.
kept us
Get
busy
off
while
my
we were
back.
marooned on the third planet. We classified them as the intelligent creatures, with the largest of all brains, born alive, animals with a great variety of body
chimp.
shapes and lifestyles. Their name, the mammals.
Yeah, finally, rise of the mammals.
Ooh.
What the hell is this?
It's like interterrestrial Andy Griffith or something.
Coming up over the hill.
Remarkable.
It does make it a lot
Can you show me
easier
what
when
the
the
fuck
insects
inside?
just jump into the
Yeah.
net.
Or they're actually pinned
Here
to
was
the
an
rock, so
animal
all you
without
have to do is put
skeleton.
your net on it.
A hard outer covering supported the body. Animals like
Oh,
these
it's
were
such a hot
very
day.
abundant.
Look at it.
Most
I
were
should have wore a
small.
hat. Yeah, but I forgot.
Why do I live in the desert? Oh.
Some ate little
I
animals
told her
like
I didn't want to move to
themselves.
the desert. We were fine in the city.
Many had wings and could fly. These, the robot informed me, were the adults. The young ones had no wings.
This is ridiculous. Yay, let's frolic through the park with nuts.
Good, we
I feel like I'm listening to Peter and the Wolf now.
Let me see. Is it different from the others we found?
The thing is, Chris, this is not the strangest thing this kid has seen in Griffith Park.
There's
Guaranteed.
no way. If it's Griffith Park, there's no way. This was like in the top 10.
So the robot was like 3 feet tall just a second ago. Now he's 7 feet.
He also looks a lot bigger now. Like his head looks bigger.
Now he's 3 feet.
And he's also a sprinter.
What do we do now?
We've got forced perspective theater here. Where did it go?
I thought I heard him go this way.
Those guys almost
I don't
ran
think so,
into the
Rob.
ship. They had to have seen it
Nobody here.
disappear.
Jimmy must have been imagining.
Jimmy.
Oh, Jimmy.
That was the exact
Jimmy, you liar.
moment you saved us.
Long time no see. Did that guy seriously say that?
Someone said you've been searching for me for a long time. That's great.
What happened to the ship they beamed up?
Good. Yes, I
Yeah,
hope
where
what
did that
we've
go?
done
He
helped
came
with
in, but the ship
scientists.
didn't show up.
What was it like down there? Wait till I get some rest. I'll tell you all about it.
Yeah, because this has been exhausting.
Yeah, you walked around and frolicked with a net. You must be just destroyed.
And that was Mission to the Third Planet, Chris. Did you learn anything from this?
Oh, man. Okay, if I was, and I said it at the beginning of the program, if I was in grade 1, 2, or 3, I learned a lot because they talked about bone structure. They talked about the in some ways, the genetic and the chemical makeup of certain animals. They were calling insects animals, which I found just a tiny bit off. And if I was in grade 1, 2, or 3 in the year 1972, I would have found that entertaining as well as educational. Obviously, it did not age well. There's no doubt about it. However, I learned that there was so many other uses for a Space 1999 model and a Star Wars TIE fighter that was painted white.
Yes. And you know what? I want to discuss that in a moment. I want to do a little movie making 101 in a second. But one of the things that I actually thought worked well, because obviously science fiction was all the rage in the 70s. And this particular film, interestingly enough, you pegged it at 72, which is probably what I would have on first blush. But it was actually done in 1979.
Oh, that is sad.
Yeah. So, but I thought, considering this was a film about classifying the animals on Earth, I actually thought that the conceit of having aliens come down to do it was actually kind of cool and actually worked fairly well.
That is true. Because we all have wondered, I wonder what would happen if extraterrestrials came down to the planet. How would they view us? So by that perspective, absolutely. I thought it was great. Now, what I thought was hilarious was when this one extraterrestrial and his sidekick robot made its way back onto the ship, and they wanted to know everything about this alien life planet that he had just discovered. This guy remember, he's just made first contact, and he says, I'll tell you after I have a nap. After I have a nap? After I've had some rest, no, you're staying up for the rest of your life if it takes that. You're telling us what happened on a foreign land.
Yes, well, it was exhausting being with that robot.
It had to have been. I noticed the robot didn't make it back either. He appeared on the bridge of the ship. Robot's not there, and the other ship that he came up in is also gone.
Yeah. But, one of the things that I thought was kind of cool that I wanted to touch on is I wanted to do a little bit of movie making 101 here.
All right.
And talk about how to get that cheesy 1970s sci-fi look on the cheap. Because that's obviously what they did.
So you're talking about doing it in 1972 or doing it in 2022?
Oh, just, looking at how they did it and how you can do the same thing if you want.
Right.
If you want that 70s, and this is actually kind of a 60s/70s vibe, right?
Yeah,
so
it sure is.
The one thing that's a little bit off is the costumes, because the costume looks very 1950s alien, although I think Space 1999 did occasionally have people in gold paint.
Right, but you're right. This does look an awful lot like before there was colorized, the old Buck Rogers that came out in the 1950s.
And, the robot is very pre-1990. It's like the robots were always, these kind of squat things that just in reality probably couldn't have moved very well. And,
or at all.
Yeah, or at all.
Certainly wouldn't have been able to run through a forest, that's for sure.
No. And yeah, he looks like, obviously, his body is plastic, and I'm not even sure what the heck they used as that body. His head's obviously an old 1960s JVC television set, which was like a sphere. But yeah, they didn't necessarily have to spend a lot of money creating him, and they didn't have to spend a lot of money on the sets either. Like back then, one of the things you could do is have like a blacked out room and have, some, white walls with some really geometric kind of black designs and go for the basic look. And it kind of looked a little bit, kind of like a cheap version of 2001.
All that and more. There's no doubt about that. All that and more. I appreciated the attempt at trying to make it sci-fi-ish because, again, when we went late 70s into the year 1980, when the original Battlestar Galactica tried it as well, it got pulled off with basically the exact same amount of flair in that everybody looked human, or they were at least some sort of derivative of human.
Yes.
Because nobody had the imagination or the technology to reproduce what another alien life could possibly be outside of a biped that with 4 limbs that walked erect, had an eyes, nose, and a mouth, and acted exactly like a human.
Yeah, obviously no CGI back then at all.
No.
So, the other thing, once you get beyond creating the cheap robot and the cheap sets, is, you can also look at saving money by doing what here's the funny thing, Chris. Most people have heard of kit bashing, and this is where, and this was actually done on a Canadian show that I wasn't really involved with, but was around the same time. I knew the person involved with the sets, and he was talking about how they would go and get a whole bunch of model kits and just stick a whole bunch of random stuff together. Well, these guys go one better and just basically take the toys, probably from their kids. We see the TIE Fighter and the Space 1999 Eagle, and don't do anything to them. And you know what? Even the TIE Fighter that's missing its panels was probably missing its panels because there was a button on the back that would release the panels. And for a lot of kids, if they didn't take care of them, the panels got lost. So I can just see, like, the director going in his kid's bedroom and just like picking up these 2 things and just taking them off. And these will be our spaceships. This looks great.
He popped, or he couldn't find them. I guess this is what a TIE Fighter is.
And then, of course, the way to use these to make them look larger is through the magic of forced perspectives, which back then, before CGI, you basically hung the little toy model really close to the camera and then shot the human beings distant.
I noticed that because it's not even in frame. The human beings are totally in frame, and they're really, really small. And this thing is so big that it's out of frame. So we get it.
There we go. And that is, movie making 101.
Awesome.
If you want to get that cheesy 70s look, it actually doesn't take a lot of cash. And we would love it for you guys, if you haven't done so yet, to go to our website, cheezysalescinema.com, where you will find all of our episodes.
Yes.
We have a lot of episodes now. We have over 35 episodes. So if you're finding it a challenge to find them all on YouTube, or you want to binge them all like one right after the other, starting from the beginning, if you go onto our website, everything is all there in chronological order.
And Jason and I just celebrated our first year of Cheezy Sales Cinema. So we had chart the evolution, watch the evolution. But the best part is everything just keeps getting better and better and better. And having now done this for over a year, we're basically guaranteeing our quality. And besides, what do you want for free? A refund?
And what's even more exciting is if you are able to join our lives. So our lives are usually done the second or third Thursday of the month. And what we do, if you haven't experienced them before, rather than one short, we do like 4 or 5 shorter shorts, and we take your comments. So if you'd like to be part of it, it's really special. And not in the special bus sense.
And we may even one day do a shorter short on short shorts. It really depends on what you want. Log on, subscribe, watch the back catalog. Let us know something that you'd love us to riff on, or maybe something you'd love us to cover live on the live events when we go live on YouTube. And we will make it happen for you, because that's what we're about. We're about customer service here at Cheezy Sales Cinema.
We love interacting with our fans.
Yes.
So until next time, I'm Jason Reed.
And I'm Chris May. Thank you so much for being with us for Cheezy Sales Cinema for now.
We'll see you soon.